effective, and best of all, you can just pay somebody to do it all for you, and you never have to spend any time on it yourself. Or you can just use a paid lead service. You can actually hire somebody and you pay them by the lead to actually generate leads for you. So those are all my favorite paid marketing strategies. Now, my favorite free marketing strategies are things like driving for dollars. This is driving around looking for abandoned houses and things like that. Local search. Local search is where you register your website one time on certain search engine locations, and you actually get leads forever. You know, once you're registered there, when people search for those things in those places, they actually come to your website. And Craigslist. Craigslist is a great place to find buyers. Not a great place for sellers, but you can get a lot of sellers, cold lead sellers there. Cold lead sellers are a little harder to convert, but they're free, right? You can get all the leads you want on Craigslist. So those are my favorite marketing strategies, and I want to say that your silver bullet depends on you. You know, some people say, well, just tell me the one to use or the three to. Everybody's different, right? I mean, some people have more money, some people have more time. You have to figure out what you have, time or money. And some people have some skills or interests or things that make them more suitable, make some of these strategies or campaigns more suitable than others. So go through the 65 different strategies, pick the ones that fit your situation, your time and money, and get your marketing going. Okay, so I'm going to tell you my first takeaway. The takeaways are things you're definitely going to want to write down. The first takeaway is job one is finding a deal. Okay, you have to spend time finding a deal, and that's really what marketing is. Marketing is just finding a deal. You have to build a marketing machine, right? You have to determine how many dollars and hours you're going to spend on marketing each month and exercise or enact some of these campaigns and get those leads coming in. You know, as you get leads coming in, you're going to turn those leads into deals and into dollars. Now, I discovered a long time ago, for every dollar I spend on marketing, I make at least $5 in profit. It took me about 2 years to figure that out, but once I figured that out, I started spending money on marketing like a drunken sailor, because I had a machine that just turned money into more money. And that's why this business is a numbers game. You have to build that machine yourself. But, you know, good deals are not easy to find. Finding a deal is not easy. Good deals are not, for example, in the MLS. You know, you don't hire a realtor to find a good deal. The realtors shop in the MLS. The MLS is the retail marketplace. You know, even foreclosure properties, people hear foreclosure and they think that means it's a deal. I got news for you. When the bank forecloses on a property, all they do is hire a realtor and they say, sell it for as much as you can possibly get it. You know, maybe 1 out of 15 properties that I buy are bank foreclosed properties, but the much better deals are in a different pond. You know, I call it the wholesale pond, and you've got to learn how to fish in that pond, and that's what these different marketing things do. They allow you to find the deals that are not in the MLS, the really good deals, but you've got to do some marketing to find those deals. Most investors fail because of insufficient marketing. They just don't find enough deals, and they just don't find that they make enough money, and they eventually give up and go off and do something else. So job number one is finding a deal. Alrighty, I do have a video encyclopedia. I'll talk a little bit more about it later, but I actually have training where I teach all these different marketing methods. Here's an example of a video that's 27 minutes long just on how to use, for example, bandit signs, those Coroplast plastic signs, to actually find deals. Bandit signs are relatively inexpensive, very effective. It's just one of the 65 different methods that I use and teach to find deals. All of these methods are tested for today's market. You know, more leads means more deals, means more dollars. So it's a numbers game. So that's the 65 different marketing methods. Okay, 3 essential skills, right? Marketing, strategy, and sales. So we're going to, for now, give marketing a big check mark, and we're going to go on and talk about strategy a little bit. So I love talking about strategy. I used to be an electrical engineer, and now I call myself a transaction engineer. And what I mean by that is, you know, there's so many different ways you can make money as a real estate investor. And as you learn these different methods, you're able to solve different problems, make money in different situations. And I like making money. You know, whenever the phone rings, I want to be able to make money, and that's what knowing a lot of strategy does for me. So these are all the different strategies I use. I'm going to go through and teach you some of these strategies. Let me start with wholesaling. Wholesaling is where you simply get a property under contract. It doesn't cost any money to do that. You just get a property under contract, and then you assign your contract to another buyer in exchange for a fee. You can make various amounts of money on a wholesale deal, but a pretty typical check is about $5,000 a house. And the beauty of wholesaling is this is a no money strategy. It takes no money to do it. It's no risk. You can't actually lose money, right, if you don't spend any money. Relatively low reward strategy. There's no such thing as a millionaire wholesalers. These are, no risk, no money, but they are hard to find deals. These are hard to find deals. Let me show you a case study. This is actually a student of mine, and her name is Kimberly. And Kim found this property, got it under contract, and she posted the deal into my buyer's network, and another investor snapped it up and paid her $17,000. So Kim's pretty excited. She's holding up her check, and she's a happy camper. There was actually a story I later found out behind this story. When Kim got this property under contract, her mom was actually visiting her from out of town. So Kim's driving around with her mom, and her mom is like, well, Kim, where are we going? Well, Mom, we're going to get a property under contract. At this point, Kim's mom is like, well, wait a minute, Kim, you just got out of college, you don't have any money, you can't go buying a house. Don't worry, Mom, I know what I'm doing. So Kim's mom followed Kim into this house. Kim offered the guy $265,000 cash for his house, and the guy signed the contract. Now, obviously, Kim had already worked this out on the phone ahead of time, so she knew what she was doing. But at this point, her mom is freaking out. And I get back to the car and say, Kim, that can't be legal. You don't have $265,000. You can't buy a house. What are you doing? Don't worry, Mom. I know what I'm doing. Kim went back to her apartment, and she posted the deal into my buyer's list, into my buyer network. And another investor basically said, I want to buy that property. So he paid Kim $17,000 for her contract. He then bought the property for $265,000. Kim got the $17,000, and now even Kim's mom is a big believer. So that is an example of how wholesaling works. So Kim posted this property to the buyer's list, found a buyer immediately. All righty, let's go on to the next strategy, buying subject to. Buying subject to, or sub to is the jargon for this, means you're agreeing to take over the payments on a seller's mortgage in exchange for them deeding the property over to you. You can do this with any house, with any mortgage, anywhere. You can simply take over the payments on the mortgage. And once you do that, you can basically do anything you want with the house. Retail it, renovate it, wrap it, assign it, keep it as a rental, keep it as a homestead, however you want to do this. And there's various amounts of money depending on your strategy with this, but typical check's about $10,000 when you do a sub-2 deal. And this is a low to no money strategy, low risk, medium reward strategy. Now, I always tell people this is one of those core strategies you absolutely, positively must learn. Because if you listen to what I said here, I just told you, you can buy a house for as little as no money at all, simply by agreeing to take over the payments on the loan. Now, once you learn how to buy real estate without money, how much real estate do you suppose you can buy? And the answer is all you want. This is one of those secrets to making a lot of money with no money in real estate. And no matter whether you have no money or whether you have a ton of money, there's no difference. Nobody has enough money, right? Even if you have money, you're not going to have enough money to keep doing deals over and over again. So as you do a deal, now your money's all tied up, you can't do another deal. So you've got to learn how to invest in real estate without money. The more money that I make and the more experience I get, actually the less money I use investing in real estate. Now people always ask, well, show me how this works. Why would somebody just give you a house? Well, here's an example. I'll show you a case study. This house is worth $150,000. The owner only owes $110,000, so there's $40,000 in equity. She's got it rented out for $1,600 a month, and the mortgage payment is only $1,100 a month. So it seems like the perfect rental property with $500 a month positive cash flow, with one major problem. The seller lost her job, and although she continued to collect the rent, she stopped paying the mortgage. And 4 days before this house is about to be auctioned off at the courthouse steps, I went to her and I said, you know, if you deed this house over to me, I will take over the payments. I will catch the payments up and take over the payments going forward. So in other words, I offered to buy her house subject to. And she said deal, because it was a much better deal than getting foreclosed on. And it was a great deal for the lender because they didn't want to foreclose on the house. And it was a great deal for the tenant because they didn't want to get kicked out. But mostly it was a great deal for me because for $4,500, which is what it cost me to catch up the payments on this loan, I now own this beautiful $150,000 house. It came with $110,000 in loan, so I've got $40,000 equity, and I'm making $500 a month in cash flow on the property. And if you think that's cool, I've got about 20 more just like it. That's the power of buying properties subject to. So you've got to learn that strategy. Okay, here's another one. It's called equity partnering. And equity partnering is where you actually partner with the seller. You basically buy their house for an IOU and a promise to share some of the profits. You then renovate it and retail it, and you can sell it for a profit. A typical deal maybe makes you about $15,000. Now, this is a strategy that does take some money, so we'll call it a medium risk strategy. Whenever you're putting money into renovations and things like that, there's some risk. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You just need to understand that. But it's a fairly high reward strategy. And most of all, this is a great way to steal deals from other investors. Let me explain what I mean by that. So here's a case study. I'm trying to buy this house, and I offered the seller $80,000. And I was competing with several other investors, and they all offered around $80,000, which is not that unusual. You know, if a bunch of investors look at the same deal, they calculate it the same way. We all use the same calculator, if you will. So it's not unusual if a bunch of investors are trying to buy a house that the prices all come in around the same price. So we all offered the guy $80,000. The guy tells me, no, I want $90,000. And at this point I say, well, I can't pay you $90,000. You know, your house needs at least $10,000 in work, and it's going to only sell for $135,000. So there's just not enough margin in this thing for me to pay $90,000 after all the expenses and carrying costs and renovations. And at this point, the guy starts arguing with me. What are you talking about? You know, my house is worth $155,000. No, what are you talking about? You know, the house next door sold for $135,000. The one across the street sold for $135,000. The one down the street sold for $135,000. Yours is exactly like all of those. Yours is worth $135,000. No. You're trying to rip me off. My house is worth $155,000. Well, it's not that unusual that somebody believes their house is worth more than it is. And when we get one of those sellers and one of those houses, we call that a magic house. It's a house that's just magically worth more than all the other houses just like it. So when you run into a magic house, here's what I want you to do. I want you to close the deal using something called the magic close. And the magic close is really cool because you're going to now negotiate based on the seller's number. And you're going to basically ask the seller, you know, what do you think the house is worth? Oh, I think the house is worth $155,000. Oh, okay. Well, you know, that's great. I'd love to sell this thing for $155,000. And, you know, it seems like it needs a lot of work, but what do you think it's going to cost me to fix it up? Oh, what are you kidding me? You know, maybe $5,000 for a little paint. Oh, awesome. Well, I can see why you want more than my $80,000, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. How about instead of me buying this house from you for $80,000, how about you simply deed the house over to me? I will make the payments going forward. I'll fix the house up as quickly as I can for as little money as I can, and then I'll sell the house for as much as I can possibly get, and I'll share the profits with you. And if you're right, and I can fix this thing up for $5,000 and sell it for $155,000, your share of the profit is going to be much more than if you had taken my $80,000 offer or any of those other guys' $80,000 offer. Now, of course, you know, if we can't sell it for $155,000, we'll have to drop the price to $145,000, $135,000. If I can't fix it up for $5,000, I'll spend $10,000 or whatever it takes. But you'll still get your share of the profit. And if the numbers are closer to what I thought, you'll still make as much money had you taken my $80,000 offer or any of those other guys' $80,000 offer. So you see where I'm going here. The magic close is how you close a magic house. Here's an example of a house, and the owners only owed $42,000 on the house. They deeded it over to me. I spent $9,000 catching up the payments, $9,000 on renovations, and another $12,000 paying off a lien and some carrying costs. So in total, I was only into the house for $30,000. We sold the house for $133,000. I got my $30,000 back, and we made $50,000 profit. I gave the seller half, and I kept the other half. So I made $25,000 off of my $30,000. It was a much safer deal for me too, because instead of having to come up with 80, I only had to come up with 30, and I was sharing the profit. So even if the profit had been less, I still would have gotten half. Even if there was only $10 made, and there was definitely going to be money made on this deal, I would have been able to keep 5. But the coolest thing about the magic close is it's a great way to steal a deal right out of the hands of the other investors, because, you know, the magic closes uses the seller's own numbers for negotiating. They will always say their house is worth more than it is. They will always say the repairs are less, and the more they say the house is worth and the less they say the repairs cost, the better the magic close works. You know, of course, if the seller is right, and he really thinks he is, he'll make more money than your original offer. But either way, you'll get the deal, and all the other investors won't. So that's equity partnering in the magic close. Another strategy I like to do is I like to do what are called mortgage payment assignments. This is where you get a property under contract, again, subject to the existing loan, but with an option to buy it. And then you assign your contract to a buyer in exchange for a fee, typically 5 to 10% of the home price. So that might be about $10,000 on a typical, relatively inexpensive home. This is another no money, no risk strategy, medium reward strategy. These are easy deals to find. These are houses typically with little, no, or negative equity. They're easy to sell. You're selling them to buyers who can't get loans, and it's a no money strategy. I'll explain this graphically. Sometimes this makes more sense when I explain it graphically. An investor gets a property under contract from a seller. We use a special contract that allows you to take over the payments on any home and on any loan. We then sell our contract to a buyer in exchange for a fee, typically $10,000. And then the buyer buys the home from the seller. So the deed transfers from the seller to the buyer, and the buyer makes the payment on the seller's loan going forward. The seller gains relief from having to make the mortgage payments going forward on the home. There's up to 50 million people who want to get out of their mortgage. They don't want to have to keep paying their mortgage anymore, so this guy no longer has to pay his mortgage. The buyer, of course, gains the benefit of being able to buy a home that comes with financing. And there's 82 million people, because the lending standards have changed so dramatically, that are no longer qualified to get a loan. But they can get a loan with a home using this program. But the coolest part of the program is that, notice, the investor just made $10,000 without having to actually buy or sell a house. So how cool is that? That's mortgage payment assignment. Now, these are just 12 of the strategies that I use. There's actually 8 more that I don't have time to cover now. I'll go through one more, but I am going to cover them a little bit more later. One more, buy and hold. Buy and hold is where you buy a property, you can buy it subject to or owner finance, conventional, and then you rent it out and you sell it sometime in the future, 5, 10, 15 years down the road. And the cool thing about buy and hold is I guarantee listen to this, I guarantee you can make $100,000 a house. Just about any house you buy, you can do and make $100,000 profit on it. What's the catch? The catch is you have to hold on to the house until it's worth $100,000 more than you bought it for, right? You've got to let it appreciate, and that takes time. Now, here's the thing. If you buy better properties in better areas, I buy properties and my average appreciation rate's about 10%. I have a very unique formula for picking properties. Better houses in better areas will appreciate faster, but they do take time. This is a relatively low money, medium risk strategy. You have to have a little money in your pocket to pay for, the vacancies and repairs and all the joys and thrills that go along with home ownership. But it's absolutely the highest reward strategy. It is the most important strategy for building wealth. 10 years from now, you're going to look at your bottom line, your net worth. You're going to say assets minus liabilities. And for real estate investors, the decisions they make on buy and hold will affect your future wealth more than any other decisions. You've got to start doing this strategy as soon as possible. My wife Shanoa and I actually have a get-rich-slow plan to make millions of dollars from zero. So how would you like, I'll give it to you right now, how would you like to make $1 million with no money at all? It's not that hard. Go buy $10 million worth of real estate. Well, how in the world do you buy $10 million worth of real estate? Well, remember, hello, did we talk about subject to a little while ago? You can buy all the houses you want for as little as no money per house, stick tenants in them, use the tenant's rent to pay the mortgage. You may even get some cash flow out of it. And now you just wait. If your $10 million worth of real estate goes up 10% in value, which could happen in as little as 1 year, you just made $1 million out of nothing. My wife and I own about $10 million worth of mostly rental properties, but we only owe $4.2 million on that portfolio because most of them were bought subject to, and we've just held on to them as they have appreciated. Okay, using all the strategies. If you use all of these strategies, you're always going to maximize your income. These strategies work in up markets, in down markets. They work when lending is easy. They work when lending is difficult. They work when prices are going up. They work when prices are going down. They work in every state, in every market, in every location. But the market is always changing. But it doesn't matter because there are strategies for every market and every situation, for every single lead. By using all of these strategies, you are recession-proof, and that's what you want to be. I'll give you an example. In 2008, my short sale business started to make less money. I was making a lot of money, and all of a sudden I started making less money on short sales because the market shifted. Lending became tighter, and it was harder to flip those properties. So my income started to go down from that basically a stream of income. Now, I had friends of mine that were also doing short sales, and when their business started to go down, what they did is they doubled down. They started doing more short sales to make up for it. In other words, they started doing even more of the same thing, hoping for different results. That's not what I did, though, because I used all of these strategies. I found that when my short sale business went down, my mortgage assignment business actually went up, and I started making more money in that business. So I am recession proof. I just use all of these strategies and just pick the appropriate strategy each time to make money every single time my phone rings. Every time your phone rings, at least one of those strategies will make you money. One of those strategies can be used for absolutely anybody that wants to sell a house. If somebody wants to sell a house, I've got one or more ways that I can always make money on that lead, on that call. And if you're not convinced fully enough, here's an example of my first big deal. After investing for a couple of years, I flipped this house and I made $291,000 flipping the house, which was a lot of money. It was the biggest deal I'd ever done up until that point. But the really interesting part of the story was there were 7 other investors that actually looked at this deal before me. So how in the world could 7 investors walk in and walk out and not get this opportunity under contract, an opportunity to make almost $300,000? And the answer is the competition was a bunch of one-trick ponies. This strategy that needed to be done for this house was not what they were doing. They were looking for something else, and this just didn't fit into the box that they had. So you got to use all of those strategies. So I'm going to teach you a little bit more about strategy, but I've been talking for a while, and I might want to at least take a minute to tell you who the heck I am, again, for those that don't know. I became a real estate investor on December 15, 2003. That's the day I did my first deal. Since then, I negotiated over 1,000 short sales and participated in over 200 renovations and other types of projects. In total, I estimate that I participated in about $200 million worth of real estate transactions. I've acquired a portfolio of nearly $10 million of mostly rental properties that my wife and I only owe about $4.2 million on, and that's contributed over $4.5 million to our net worth. We run the largest real estate investor club / association in Central Texas, and I have taught and coached thousands of investors since 2008. I am very focused on my students and the success of my students. I love helping people get into the real estate business. All of my businesses are Better Business accredited with an A+ rating, which is actually very unusual in this business, and I know a little bit about real estate. These are my partners, my beautiful, lovely wife, Shinoa, who's also a real estate broker, a real estate investor, and she runs all the businesses with me. And our little boy, and I put a picture of him in here just to prove of the 6 billion people born of this planet, the single best looking and smartest human being ever born was born 3 years ago, right here in Austin, Texas. And when we had our little boy, it's kind of funny because my wife said, you know, we really need to set up a college fund. I said, what are you talking about? You know, we're real estate investors. Let's just buy him a house. So we bought him this house. We bought the house for $115,000. Today it's worth $269,900. So at the ripe age of 3, this little guy's net worth is over $155,000, which is more than the net worth of the average 55-year-old. So I have no idea what Harvard is going to cost 15 years from now, but I'm pretty sure we've got it covered between the appreciation we've already gotten on this house and the equity we already have in this house and all the additional appreciation we're going to get over the next 15 years. So how would you like to be able to pay for your child's education and your family's secure future? That's what real estate has done for me. I know of no better way to provide for my family and the security of our future than through real estate. And anybody can buy these houses. You just find these deals, buy them. You can buy them even using the sub-2 strategy, which means you can get them for as little as no money at all and then just have a tenant pay the mortgage on them. We actually have a tenant in this house of Zilkers. Alrighty, so my first day was 2003 on December 15th. Took me actually 6 months to find my first deal. I didn't know at all what I was doing, didn't have much help either. And it actually took me 5 days to do my second deal. Within 5 years, I had been involved in 1,000 different types of short sales mostly. I burned out of high tech. I became a real estate investor and I bought my first renovation property. I've negotiated over 1,200 transactions since then. And this has created what I call continuous multiple streams of income. I'm continuously doing deals and getting checks. You know, here's a short sale I got $16,000 for. Here's a renovation job that I got $36,000 on. Here's a wholesale deal I got $5,000 on. Here was a big deal, subject to renovation project, got $68,000 on. Here's a assignment deal I got $5,600 on. Here's another mortgage assignment deal I got $6,000 for. Here's a wholesale deal I got $10,000 for. Here's a referral I got $2,800 for. Here's another referral I got $12,000 for. That was a pretty big referral. I just do deals. I find deals continuously through my marketing. I use the different strategies to make money on the deals, and I get a stream of checks. I get continuous checks. Sometimes I hit singles, sometimes I get doubles, sometimes I even get home runs. But you can see how this is all just a numbers game. You know, you just keep doing it and you just get streams of income using the different strategies. By 2007, I had actually become one of the most successful residential real estate investors in Texas, making about $1 million a year. And by the way, when I say $1 million a year, I count everything as income. I count it whether I take my income in the form of profit that I pay taxes on, or sometimes I take my income in the form of equity. I get a great deal and I take it in the form of equity. My philosophy is, you know, make as much money as you need to live on and then keep the rest in the form of equity. About $10 million worth of assets, and I upgraded my home at that point to this beautiful 10,000 square foot home in 2.5 acres in one of Austin, Texas's most exclusive neighborhoods. This home is 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, 6 wet bars, 10 flat screens, 20 computerized touchpads. It's a highly automated home, 22 Viking appliances, and it was actually featured on NBC News in Austin, Texas as Austin, Texas's most high-tech home. And I'm saying all of this not to impress you, but to impress upon you what is possible. I became a real estate investor in 2003. By 2007, I had reached financial independence because of real estate. It is really possible to do very well in this business. And just in case you're a skeptic, you know, every once in a while somebody says, well, I'll bet you just make money, you know, selling real estate training or something like that. Well, just in case you're a skeptic, let me tell you a little bit about me. I became a real estate investor in 2003. From 2003 to 2007, I spent over 10,000 hours learning the craft, the art, the science, studying, testing, and applying strategy, marketing, and sales to master my art as a real estate investor. It was only after investing for years and making my personal fortune doing so that I even started to share my knowledge and secrets and tools with others. So there. Today, I am still conducting about one real estate transaction a week on average. But the thing that's changed a lot is I now only spend about 4 hours a week investing. When I got started, I was actually spending about 60 hours a week investing. So something's changed in a big way, and I'm going to explain that. I have many different businesses and interests, and the amount of time I spend on investing, even though I'm doing as many deals, has gone down dramatically. The mix of deals I'm doing, about half of my deals are seller finance deals, mortgage assignments, wraps, things like that. About half of the deals I'm doing are fixes and flips, wholesales, buy and hold, and some of the other strategies. Okay, let's get back to strategy. So how do you learn all these strategies? Well, thousands of books and tapes, exist on, and DVDs teaching real estate investing strategy, right? You can take training on how to do short sales and buy and holds, how to do mortgage assignments and auction options, listings and referrals, how to do wholesaling and contract for deed, how to do lease options, house swapping, how to do wraparound mortgages, equity partnering, fixing and flipping. And you can certainly do a lot of training. How many of you have tried one of these, or 2 or 3 or 4 of these, by the way? Probably a lot of you. You could certainly spend a lot of money taking a lot of training, right? A typical training program is going to cost you about $1,000. So if you took all of these training programs, you'd spend about $12,000 taking them all. And I've done them all. And people call these by many different names, by the way. If you're a new investor, you may get confused because you hear so many different training strategies, and they all have different names. But if you boil down the different strategies to their actual core, there's really 12 fundamental ways to make money in real estate. So let's talk about those 12 fundamental investing strategies. And the good news is they all work. Every single one of these strategies will make you money investing in real estate. If you use any of these strategies and you find a deal for any of these strategies, you can actually make money. The bad news is, so what's the catch? The bad news is they each only work in unique situations. So the trick is to figure out which strategy to use in which unique strategy. At least one of them will work in any situation, but they each only work in unique situations. But your job, remember, job one is finding a deal. You need to just spend your time finding a deal. So finding a deal is kind of like hunting, right? You go out finding a deal and you look for a deal and you got one, right? And the good news is, right, you just found something. If you had that training program and you're looking for a wraparound mortgage, then you could make money on that deal that you found. Unfortunately, what happens with most investors is they're looking for something different, right? This guy's looking for wholesale deals, and he didn't find that, just like the people that were one-trick ponies that didn't buy that house I flipped for $300,000. So he looks at another deal, and the good news again is, if he has that training program, right, he could make money on that situation. But no, this guy's just looking for wholesale deals. So, okay, we'll keep looking out there and take another shot. And if you had that training program, you could make money this time. But once again, this guy is looking for wholesale deals. So are you starting to see a problem here? Okay, what's the problem? Most real estate training, when you study a particular strategy or take a training program, essentially what you're learning how to do is bet on one number at the roulette wheel, right? And if you bet on one number over and over again on the roulette wheel, every once in a while you'll hit that number, but as we all know, eventually you'll go broke. You don't want to bet on one number at the roulette wheel. Good deals are hard to find. You just want to make money when you find a deal. Most investors give up because they can't find enough of what they're looking for, and eventually they give up because they're not making enough money. So what do you want to do? Well, this is takeaway number 2. I bet on all of the numbers on the roulette wheel all of the time, and I spin the wheel a lot. That's really my secret to doing a deal a week in under 4 hours. I just use all of the strategies to make money every single time I see a situation, and I use the appropriate strategy, and then I find as many situations or leads as possible. This is what the top 1% of investors do, and everyone else does not. Okay, And I do have a video encyclopedia. I mentioned that earlier. And in my video encyclopedia, I actually teach 12 complete training programs. If it works, it's in there. And I do something nobody else does, by the way. I don't have a vested interest in convincing you that any one strategy is any better than any other strategies. In other words, I teach them all, and I'll teach you the risks and rewards associated with all of these different strategies. They all work, they all have upsides, and they all have downsides. I tell you what's called the truth and the whole truth. Now, for example, short sales. I love short sales. I've done a lot of short sales. I've made $3 million doing over 1,000 short sales. The truth is I made $3 million doing about 100 short sales and virtually nothing doing 900 other short sales. So if I told you and I taught you short sales the way a lot of people teach short sales, I could tell you story after story after story about all the money I made on this deal and this deal and this deal, and I'd be telling you the truth. It just would be a cherry-picked version of the truth. So you want to see all sides of these different stories, and I don't care. I mean, I'm strategically agnostic. I love them all, I use them all, and I'll tell you the truth and the whole truth behind each one of these strategies. But you do want to use them all, because every time the wheel stops, you want to be able to make money on that deal. Good deals are hard to find. So these are just 3 of the 12 different strategies that I teach. And I'm going to give you some advice about this training. And you might want to write this down because it's probably going to shock you or at least surprise you. So here's my advice. My advice is don't watch these videos. Don't watch this. Look, if people made millions of dollars reading books and watching videos, then the library would be filled with millionaires, right? And somehow there have been millions of training programs sold and videos and books and everything else on real estate, and yet the world and the libraries are not filled with millionaires. So what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to tell you what you're going to do instead of taking more training. Here's my secret number 1. So how do I do one deal a week in under 4 hours? Well, I'm going to explain what I do. One of the first things I do is I actually use technology to rapidly evaluate strategy for me. Now, what in the world am I talking about? Well, I mentioned before I started life as an electrical engineer. Now I'm a transactional engineer. And as an engineer, I've always wanted to use technology to solve problems, and I actually developed something called the scoreboard. So what is the scoreboard? The scoreboard, and let me go ahead and zoom in on the middle part of this. The scoreboard is technology where every time you look at a deal, every time you get a lead, every time a seller interacts with you, that deal will show up on the scoreboard, and the scoreboard will tell you what to do with that deal. It'll sort your deals out for you. So all 12 of the different ways there are to buy and sell real estate, well, they're all lit up on the scoreboard. And for each strategy, the scoreboard will tell you good deal, no deal, or maybe deal. In fact, the scoreboard will also calculate your maximum allowable offer for each strategy. So it says this is a good fix and flip. You could buy this property for up to $127,367. The scoreboard is super intuitive. It's super easy to use. There's not even instructions with this. It's kind of what I call Apple Easy. What do I mean Apple Easy? Well, it's kind of like an iPad, right? There is no instruction manual for an iPad. My 3-year-old knows how to run an iPad. He's known how to use the thing since he's 2. He can pull up games, he can scroll around, he can click on the icons. It's just easy, simple, and automatic, and that's exactly what the scoreboard is. Your deals just show up on the scoreboard. And by the way, the scoreboard was built to revolutionize investing. I really want to change the world with this thing, and I'm going to show you in a few minutes how this really is revolutionary technology. It was actually inspired by my hero. You may actually recognize this guy. This is Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak, and I had the privilege of actually speaking at an event with him recently, and we were at a conference together in Dallas, both speaking to the same audience. And I told Steve at the event, I actually mimicked Steve all the way through engineering school, and I built all the way through school many of the computers from his original designs. And I actually have a computer that was one of his original designs that I put on a plaque, and we auctioned that thing off for charity together. Actually auctioned it off for $25,000 for charity. It's one of his original computers. Now, like Steve, I've always wanted to use technology to solve problems. Now, Steve really has changed the world. I'm trying to change the world of investing with this technology, and I'm going to show you how it really is doing some really revolutionizing things. But first, let me kind of explain just how this works. So you've got the scoreboard, and there's really two options for how to use this. Option one is you simply talk to your sellers. In other words, you conduct an interview and you basically ask the sellers a bunch of information. Now, the exact script or questions that you're going to ask the sellers is built right into the scoreboard. So you just fill out the form and the scoreboard lights up and it tells you exactly what to do. Or option number two, have the matching website conduct the interview for you automatically. And that's the option I use. I just send my leads, my sellers, to a website. The website actually conducts an interview and the deals just show up on the scoreboard. So how cool is that? Well, let me show you a little demo of this thing. And this is an example first of what I call a good lead. This is a lead that came in. The guy owns it without a loan. And I instantly know I've got a hot lead here as soon as I wake up in the morning. So I basically go ahead and I look at my leads. The leads come in overnight, and I click on my lead, and look, immediately the scoreboard's got a lot of green on it. Green means money, right? There's a lot of things I can do with this lead. The guy doesn't have a loan on this house. That's interesting. He wants to sell the house quickly, so it's a motivated seller. And I'd like to buy this house, maybe even using the wholesale strategy. I basically look through the deal and looks pretty good. I look at the financials. Sure enough, there's no loan on this house. And I look at the repairs, and you know, I think maybe the seller has underestimated the repairs. So I'll go ahead and put my own estimate in, either from my head or maybe from talking to the guy. And even when I put my own estimate, yes, it's recalculated the numbers a little bit, but it's still a good deal. And then I'll go ahead, and since I've got a hot lead here, I'm going to go ahead and run a CMA on this thing, and I'm going to go ahead and make an offer based on the CMA. And sure enough, this is still all green, so I know I've got myself a very hot deal, and I know exactly how much I can offer. I'm going to go ahead and try to negotiate this for $62,000 as a wholesale deal, and if I can't get that deal, I'll try some of the other strategies as a backup. Like I said, this is so easy. It's what I call Apple easy. Let me show you another example. This is another lead that came in. And this is a semi-motivated seller. So this is a lead that's probably more typical and not as strong of a lead or as hot of a deal as the other one. So I go ahead and let me run this demo. I look at the lead. This guy is not super motivated, although he says he can't pay his mortgage anymore. So that's kind of interesting. I look at the property. Okay, yeah, typical 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Oh, well, here's something kind of interesting. He thinks the house is worth more than the tax appraised value. That's not that unusual. I look at the loan, and yeah, the mortgage calculator says that's about what the loan should be. I look at the repairs, and yeah, there's not really much going on there. But, you know, I'm a little suspicious of the seller's estimate of the value. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick assessment and click on the tax value and see what that does to the numbers. And as soon as I click on that, well, this thing is probably a short sale. And that's not unusual that, you know, when you take a couple of minutes, just a minute or two to look at a deal and do a little, you know, electronic due diligence on the deals never get better when you look at them, right? I mean, from the moment you start looking at a deal, that's as good as the deal's going to ever look. And then if you do any kind of a look at it, looking any harder at it, you know, it never gets better. But isn't it amazing that you now have technology that can instantly tell you, you know, where your good deals are and where your not so good deals are? And that's one of the things that's revolutionary about the scoreboard, okay? And the scoreboard also does some other really cool things. For example, it also has a built-in contract generator. Now, for new investors especially, I don't know why, but you know, generating contracts, filling out contracts is very intimidating for new investors. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to fill it out. They're scared they're going to make a mistake. So I just push a button, and when I push the button, the contract gets generated automatically. You know, no matter what state, no matter what strategy, I get the contract generated automatically. And the contract uses a system called DocuSign. So I actually partnered up with a system called DocuSign, and DocuSign generates the contract electronically. So there's no more printing, signing, faxing, scanning. You just handle or manage all your contracts electronically. It appears on your screen, you push a button, it automatically goes to the seller. They can sign it by simply clicking on the screen, and it shows up back with you. So that's a contract generator. The scoreboard is revolutionary technology. This changes everything for investors, and I'm going to give you just one example of how this totally revolutionizes being a real estate investor. You may or may not be familiar with what you're looking at on the screen. This is something called the yellow letter. And the yellow letter is historically the highest response rate real estate investor marketing piece ever created. If you send this letter, and you can handwrite these, the yellow letter is historically a handwritten letter, it just says, I want to buy your house, call me. You can handwrite these, or nowadays you can actually get computers to generate these things for you. This letter was written by a computer. But if you send this letter, the yellow letter, to people, your phone will absolutely ring off the hook. You will get a bazillion leads. And all that being said, I hate the yellow letter. I never use the yellow letter, and I specifically teach my students, don't use the yellow letter. Now, why is that? Well, it's true, you'll get a bazillion leads. You'll get a million phone calls or web hits from this yellow letter, but only 1 out of 100 are actually going to be motivated sellers that want to do a deal with you. And the last thing that I want to spend my entire week doing is sorting through 100 different sellers, trying to find the 1 out of 100 that is actually a motivated seller that's a good deal or good strategy that I can make some money on. So that's why I hate the yellow letter. That is, until now, because I now have a revolutionary solution to the yellow letter, and that is the scoreboard. This is something, for example, that's never been possible before. What do I mean? I just send the yellow letter, but instead of sending them to my phone number, I just say, go to my website, and then what do? I let the scoreboard sort them out. When I log in the morning, I just see, okay, which is the 1 in 100 that I'm actually going to spend time on and call back and follow up. And I use autoresponders, another feature of the scoreboard, to follow up on all the rest of them automatically. So the first time in history, we've got a way to efficiently use something like the yellow letter. Now, I actually want every single person in the Northern Hemisphere to go to my website and interact with me, and I'm willing to send them all the yellow letter because the technology can sort them all out. Now, you can also go ahead and leave your phone number on there. I actually have an operator that just fills the information in on the website and takes the information from the seller, but either way, I don't have to now talk to these sellers and figure out which 1 out of 100 is the deal. The scoreboard will figure all of that out for me. So that's pretty cool. And, how would you like, if instead of having to spend, 10,000 hours literally analyzing thousands of deals to determine how to optimally make money on every situation, how would you like it if somebody just built a computer program that took all of that expertise and did it for you? That is what the scoreboard is all about. Okay, so we talked about marketing. I'm going to now put a big check mark on strategy, and let's go on to sales. And sales, just to review, what do you do, right? You need to find deals. There's free ways to find deals. There's paid ways to find deals. And then you need to determine the strategy and sort through them. The scoreboard will do that for you. And then you need to negotiate, right? You need to negotiate to get the property under contract. And, here's another question for you. How would you like it if somebody spent 10,000 hours literally talking to thousands and thousands of sellers to determine exactly what to say in every situation and then share the exact scripts with you? Well, that's exactly what I've done to figure out how to close deals. Let me tell you how I figured this out. I actually, way back when I was getting started as a real estate investor, I called somebody on the phone and I said, hi, I'm Phil Grove with We Buy Houses. I want to buy your house. And the guy said, well, how much are you going to give me? I'm not sure. Click. Wow, that didn't work so well. So I called the next guy. Hi, this is Phil Grove with We Buy Houses. I want to buy your house. Well, how much are you going to give me? Well, sir, we have many programs to choose from. Well, like what? I'm not sure. Click. I got a little further the second time, didn't I? In other words, I literally kept trying different things to see what the responses were, and every time I talked to somebody, I tried different actions and reactions. It's called overcoming objection, until I had worked out the exact script, the exact thing to say in every single different situation. So every strategy has a perfect close. Your job as a real estate investor is to just figure out which strategy to use. The scoreboard will do that for you, and then figure out which close to use with that strategy. And every strategy has a perfect close. So for example, with a short sale, one of those leads we looked at a minute ago was a short sale, you want to use something called the atomic bomb close. This is the exact script you read. Did you know that a foreclosure is the atomic bomb of credit hits? It's the beginning of a 10-year nightmare that starts with the sheriff dragging you and your family and all your possessions to the curb in front of your friends and neighbors. It's 10 years of potentially having the IRS garnish your wages to recover taxes from the 1099 issued against you for up to the full value of the loan. It's 10 years of having creditors hound you day and night trying to collect on a deficiency judgment filed against you for up to the full value of the home. It's 10 years of not being able to buy another home, buy a car, get a credit card, rent certain apartments, or even get certain jobs. But all of that can be avoided by simply having me help you by doing a short sale. I guarantee if you read that close to somebody that the scoreboard says is a short sale, they will say, sign me up. I mean, basically you said, is me or purgatory, right? And all that stuff is real. That is the atomic bomb close. And all of the strategies have a close. You know, mortgage assignment uses something called the least worst close, where you go through 5 different scenarios that those sellers are facing, and they will conclude on their own that the mortgage assignment is their best option. Fix and flip uses a double close. We use the bottom line close and the numbers close. One works with left brainers, one works with right brainers, and it doesn't matter. You can use them both at the same time and it'll close, you know, whatever thinking type person you're dealing with for equity deals. House swapping, we do the may I have another close. For, let's say, auction options, we use the Terminator close. For referrals, lease options, we use the dream tenant close. Anybody who would consider renting their home will agree to a lease option using the dream tenant close. For referrals, we use the combo close. Great way of locking up deals with the combo close. And of course, for equity partnering, we used the magic close. I talked about that a little bit before. So you just need to know the different closes, and by knowing the different closes, you're going to be able to negotiate each of those deals. And I also have a video encyclopedia, surprise, surprise, where I go through the 10 complete videos, you know, the scripts and the 10 complete videos, including overcoming objections. And there's even some other videos in the series to teach you how to close these different deals. So 10 videos, these are just some of the examples of those on how to close any kind of a strategy using one of the magic closes. And my advice is, don't watch these, right? You know, if people made millions watching videos and then, you know, people watching TV and hanging out in the library would be millionaires. You know, I want you to get out there and do stuff, okay? So we talked about marketing, we talked about strategy. I'm going to give sales a big check mark, and I'm going to now share some advice with you. Okay, if you're a newbie, okay, here's your advice. You either need to master these or have 1 or 2 or even all 3 of these done for you. Remember, real estate is something that's not a mile deep, but it's a mile wide. And if you try to do it all, you're probably going to fail. I'll give you an example. When I got started at real estate, I actually paid to have marketing done for me. I subscribed to a lead service and they did the marketing. I was already pretty good at strategy, probably because I'm an engineer, and I just worked on figuring out the sales. I literally started interviewing people and figuring out the closes. And by not having to do everything, I was actually able to do enough to start making money in the business. If you try to do it all, you're probably going to fail. Now, for the pros, I actually have similar advice, but for an entirely different reason. You know, you either have to have 1 or 2 or all 3 of these things done for you, or you're never going to grow your business. The biggest problems that pros have is they figure out how to make a certain amount of money, but they're doing it all themselves. And there's only one of you. There's only so many hours of the day. If you try to do all this stuff yourself, you're just never going to be able to grow the business because you can't clone yourself. So those are the 3 essential skills. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the rest of my secrets, how I do a deal a week in under 4 hours. So secret number 2, here it is, probably not going to surprise too many people. I actually have someone else do my marketing for me. I actually subscribe to a lead service. I just tell them what county I want leads in, and the leads just show up automatically. They just magically appear in my dashboard. So I log in the morning, and all my leads and deals have been evaluated in my scoreboard for me. So I use a paid lead service. The leads just magically appear in my scoreboard. By the way, typically cheaper than generating on your own. That's all they do. They're experts at this. This is a great service for rookies because you don't have to now worry about marketing. This is a great service for pros because you don't now have to worry about marketing. Okay. And secret number 3, how do I do a deal a week in under 4 hours? Now this may surprise some people, but here it is. I actually have someone else do my negotiating for me. So as I'm here on the phone in this video with all of you guys, this webinar, I'm actually negotiating deals live as we speak. So I have the marketing that just makes the deals show up in my scoreboard. And I actually send my leads directly over to my sales team. They call the people on the phone and they negotiate and get the properties under contract. Okay, so I've hired some top real estate investors and I pay them on commissions. I transfer my good leads over to them. They negotiate the contracts and they're really good at it because that's all they do. This is all they do all day long. I've taught them all of my secrets and I only pay them on commission. So if they don't negotiate a contract that I want, I don't pay anything. If they do negotiate a deal that I want, a contract for I want, then basically I pay them a share of the profit that I get out of the deal. All right, so that's how I do a deal a week in under 4 hours. So let me just summarize this, right? You're generating leads. You use the scoreboard to sort them out and analyze them. I've got a sales team that'll negotiate. They get them under contract using a contract generator that's managed by DocuSign. And then I actually have a national legal network that closes the deals for me. That's what my life looks like. So for example, every week I generate about 20 leads that on average gets me one solid deal that on average makes me $15,000. And I can do that over and over again. You can generate those 20 leads either by doing it yourself. There's about 40 different ways or so of doing it for free, or you can just pay people or do some of those other paid marketing strategies to generate those leads for you. You can negotiate the deals yourself using the different scripts, or you can simply have a professional sales team negotiate the deals for you and then just pay them a commission if they actually find you a deal you want. So, more advice. Newbies, don't try to do it all or you will fail. Figure out what you want to do and get some help with the rest. For the pros, I'm going to make more or less the same suggestion. Don't do it all, but the reason you don't want to do it all is if you do it all, you're going to get stuck and you're never going to grow your business. Alrighty, so that's how I do a deal a week in under 4 hours or 4 hours or less. I actually do spend less than 4 hours. I don't even like to say it that way because people have a hard time believing the 4 hours. But I'm going to ask you a question. Would you like to join me? I'm actually looking for a small group of about 25 investors, or exactly 25 investors, to become part of my network. Okay, part of my network. And membership in Phil's network actually has its benefits. Imagine never having to analyze a deal again. Imagine never having to fill out a contract again. Imagine never having to find a deal again. Imagine never having to call a raw lead on the phone again. Imagine never having to search for a closing activity. And imagine never not having access to whatever information you need when you need it. And imagine having the ability to do a deal a week in about 4 hours. How would you like to make $15,000 a week in a business that practically runs itself? How would you like to be one of these people? Because I'm actually giving these people, there's 25 people, access to my own salespeople, my marketing resources, and obviously I can only do this with a fixed group of people. We actually have a finite number of salespeople and that sort of thing. So I'm looking for 25 people to join me. Alrighty, and I call this platform, if you will, All-in-One. I describe All-in-One as the most profitable real estate investing platform ever devised. Why? Because it is really all of the strategies ever devised, combined with all of the best tools, combined with all of the best done-for-you services, all in one. Boy, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? So I call this the all-in-one done-for-you real estate investing platform. Now, this is not a training program, right? Don't expect some huge pile of books and reports and DVDs. You know, I consider that prehistoric training, okay? I hate that. I find it very painful. In fact, here's a picture of one of my 2 training closets as I was spending my 10,000 hours figuring all this stuff out. This is actually a picture of one of my 2 training closets with books and things that I had taken trying to learn all this stuff. And I'm going to make a confession here. I admit it. I actually have stuff, training programs in the closet that I've never even opened, things I just bought and I never even opened. That's not what this is. This is a platform. I call it a 21st century platform that gives you instant access to all of your resources online. You get instant access to all of these done-for-you services all in one place, instant access to all of the tools, you know, websites, the scoreboard, etc., and instant access to the video encyclopedia. You get one password. It's a platform focused on doing, right, not focused on learning. If you do want to access the video encyclopedia, great. Click on something, video will pop up on whatever topic you're looking for, and a little video of me in the corner will walk you through whatever lesson. There's over 200 different lessons in there on every topic you could imagine. So what is the all-in-one done-for-you real estate platform? Well, it's the ultimate real estate investor done for you collection. It's marketing done for you, it's strategy done for you, and it's sales done for you. And that's coupled with the ultimate real estate investor video encyclopedia. 65 training videos on how to find deals, 12 different strategies. So it teaches the details behind the 12 different investing strategies and the 10 different ways to close your deals. So let me go into a little more detail here, starting with the marketing done for you. What in the world do you mean marketing done for you? Well, introducing Phil's Marketing Machine. I call it the REI Marketing Manager, and super easy to use, right? The REI Marketing Manager actually does 3 things. It generates tools, deals, and leads for you. So let's look at those 3 different things. Starting with the tools, and let me go ahead and play another video for you. One of the tools is it generates websites. Remember I said the websites actually conduct the interview and put the information into the scoreboard for you. So I'm going to show you how you can actually have a website in under a minute. So let me go ahead and play a video here.
Quick demo of how my REI Marketing Manager will build you a done-for-you website in under a minute. So I'm online here and I'm looking at my scoreboard and I decide I want a website. So I go to seller websites. There's different kinds of websites. I just want a seller website. It says you don't have one. Would you like to make one? Yes. And do you want which kind of a website? A squeeze page or a regular website? I just want a regular website for now. Do I want to use my domain or do I want you to give me a domain? Well, for now, just give me a domain. I want to call my website Dallas, and let's see if that's available. Yes, it is. So let's generate a website. Well, here's a bunch of customization I'm going to use, and I'm going to just say use the default video. I'll make my own later. Use a default video for the lead funnel. I'll make my own later. Use all the default text, and let's go ahead and activate that. It's actually going to play me the video to show you what the video looks like. But I'm done. I'm going to hit activate, and my website has now been created. I can actually click on it, or I can have anybody else click on it, and here's the website. It's got a little video that plays when people come to the site. It's got some lead capture areas and then text down below. And this is not just a simple website. Let me stop the video. It's got my own logo, social media, phone number. Of course, I can customize and add different text and messaging here, but this is good enough for now. And for most people, you know, all of the text and stuff that's in here is probably all you're ever going to need. There's also pages and pages of information for sellers that come to your website. They can click on some of the different ways that you buy houses, and it'll show them video explanations. It'll have downloadable guides and pages of questions and answers and information on all the different ways to buy or sell real estate and all the different solutions that are available to distressed sellers. But of course, the main feature of the website is that it captures the leads, and if a seller enters their information, it'll capture their lead, and then it'll actually conduct an interview with them. Well, it'll capture all the information necessary to score the lead on the scoreboard. And this is just one of several different types of websites that my REI Marketing Manager will build for you. You can have an investor website. Here's an example of that. You can have an example of a seller squeeze page. This is another website that's built in under a minute. Or a buyer homepage. This is a buyer website for buyers to be able to click on and look and search for properties. All of these websites are built by my REI Marketing Manager in under a minute.
Alrighty, so how cool is that? And the website, like I said, conducts the interview with the seller and puts the information directly into the scoreboard. Apple Easy, and websites in under a minute, several different websites. And you can also have your marketing leads done for you. This is a service I use. It's an optional paid service where the leads just magically show up in your scoreboard. You subscribe to blocks of leads and they just show up. And they're typically cheaper than you can generate them on your own. I don't know if you're an expert at internet marketing, but these are people that do marketing. That's all they do, and they can sell and generate leads probably cheaper than a paid marketing strategy that you could do on your own. So I love this. You know, I just log in the morning and my leads are sitting there. I remember the very first time I ever put something on my website that was automatic. I actually put a PayPal thing on my website that allowed people to buy a service from me. I actually was doing deal assessments for $10, and I put this thing on my website, get a deal assessment for $10, and one morning I woke up and there was $10 sitting in my account. And that was like the coolest thing in the world. I mean, it wasn't a lot of money, it was $10, but I thought to myself, you know, I just made $10 while I'm sleeping, and I sleep every single night. So I can make $10 every night. And if I tell more people about it, I can make $100 every night. I can make $1,000 every night. I use this platform myself. I make way more than $1,000 a night on average because I just have all of this stuff done for me. And then finally, the REI Marketing Manager actually has deals done for you. Now, deals done for you is really cool. You know, how would you like to get paid for simply finding buyers, for example, for existing properties? You know, how would you like to have thousands of investors finding wholesale and subject to properties for you? Well, you can, because we've actually put together an exclusive investor-only MLS. Remember I talked about the wholesale pond? Well, this is the wholesale pond. This is the world's largest private investor MLS, multiple listing service of owner finance deals. There's over 700 non-MLS. These are not available anywhere else, not in the MLS, available subject to. There's also over 1,000 non-MLS wholesale properties in this database. So we've actually found a company that has bought over 1,000 properties. They bought over 1,000 bulk REO properties directly from lenders. And bulk REO is, you know, usually it's BS because nobody can afford to come up with $25 million to buy them, and that's what it takes to do it. But this company has actually done it, and they've got all these properties, and we've put them in this database that is part of the Marketing Manager, and you get access to it. You can buy these properties at pennies on the dollar, and they come with financing, and they're adding about 200 new properties a month. So you actually already have access to this huge database of properties that are available with financing. You can buy these yourself. You can even sell them to your buyers, or you can find buyers for other people's properties. How cool is that? So that's the Marketing Manager. It even finds deals for you. And this is a historic first strategy for you. My wife calls it fill in a box, by the way. We're, of course, talking about the scoreboard. And the scoreboard is the result of the 10,000 hours that I spent, you know, literally talking to thousands of sellers and analyzing the different situations and coming up with the computerized assessments and formulas and scripts and things that you have to do to analyze the deal. So every time you get a lead that comes in, the scoreboard will automatically tell you if it's a good deal, if it's no deal, if it's a maybe deal, and it'll calculate the maximum allowable offer for each situation, and it is super easy to use. Another historic first, how would you like my salespeople? How would you like to use the same salespeople that I use? We call this the REI sales team. I train these people to work for me to call my leads, and now you can have them work for you and call your leads. So this is a historic first. This has not even been possible before. because you could not afford to hire good salespeople to sort through all your leads. But now with the scoreboard that figures out which leads are good, and you've got specially trained salespeople to go negotiate the deals for you, now all of this stuff is possible. So Top Real Estate Investor, basically a past superstar student of mine, and his team, these are third-party experts. Now, these people don't actually work for me. I mean, they do. I've hired them to do this for me, but now they're willing to do this exclusively through this program for other people as well. You just transfer your good leads over to your sales team. They negotiate contracts for you, and they're probably better at it than you are, probably a lot better at it than you are, especially if you're just getting started. You pay them on commission. You pay them a $1,500 commission out of your profits. So in other words, if they negotiate a contract and you don't want the deal, you pay absolutely nothing. When you do pay, you're just paying out of your profits. So the marketing manager makes leads show up in your scoreboard, and then you use your sales team to call the leads literally on the phone and negotiate a contract. If you want a contract and you do a deal, you pay these guys $1,500 out of your profits. If you don't want the deal, you pay absolutely nothing. And they have other services that they offer as well. Okay, the ultimate done-for-you collection. The marketing manager, the scoreboard, the sales team. This is how I do a deal a week in 4 hours. And of course, it's coupled with the ultimate REI video encyclopedia that teaches you 65 ways to do deals, 12 ways on strategies, and 10 ways to sales. That's for those people that want to do some of these things themselves. But wait, there's more. There's actually a little bit more. To compete in today's market, you really need an unfair advantage. I think this picture illustrates an unfair advantage. And I'm going to allow the group of people that are in this program to access my partnering network. I call it the REI Advantage. I have a network, this is one of my secrets to success, of people that I do deals with. So this is a very special bonus. You get to gain access to my network of investors that are looking to partner on deals. So what does this actually look like? Well, we've got a network of investors all over the country. It's an exclusive community of investors looking to partner on deals. You can sort through this community by location, experience, profile. You want to find some guy, to partner with in Oklahoma City. He's in there. There's people all over the country in my network. And the reason that this is so important is, look, as a real estate investor, you may have a house and you basically get it under contract and you want to sell it to a buyer that you found. That's great. You just did a deal and you made some money. But if you're part of a network, you may have another house and maybe you don't have a buyer for them, but either one of the other investors in the network wants to buy that property, or maybe even one of their buyers wants to buy that property. Well, great. You can split a deal with one of them. Or maybe some of the other investors have a house that is actually something you want or something that one of your buyers wants. It'll match to you and it'll match to your buyers, and great, you can do another deal. So real estate investing is a networking, it's a horse trading business. By having access to a network, it allows you to do not only more deals yourself, but even more deals with others. Your focus really needs to be on just finding great deals. Don't worry about money, don't worry about anything else. Find great deals. If you find great deals, there's people with money looking for deals, there's people with deals looking for money, and the network is the thing that puts it all together. So these are all investors looking to partner up with you on deals, and they're all part of the REI Advantage. Now, I'm going to give you an example of how powerful this is. I actually used this network to partner on over $1 million worth of profits. So I'm going to show you right on the screen. Here is $1 million that I personally split. I shared, most cases 50-50, with this group of investors on the screen that are in the network. Okay, Rochelle Swan made $35,000 on her first deal where she partnered with me. Barry Adelman, we actually partnered on 5 deals together, made $100,000 in profit that we split. Stephanie Graham made $32,000 on her very first deal, went on to make over $100,000. She quit her job, and the funny part of the story is her boss was a guy named Glenn Phillips, and he said, "Can you teach me to do what you taught her to do, because I want to quit my job too." Leslie and Jared Gossett, really cute 20-something couple. We partnered on 2 deals in 2 months. We made over $100,000 that we split together. Greg Baker made over $31,000 on his very first deal with me. He's done several more since then. Debbie DeBerry actually partnered on her first deal with me, made $15,000. Marilyn Williams, actually we've done several deals together, made $56,000 together. And Rich Sigmund, actually have done multiple deals with Rich as well, made $39,000 with him. And let me go ahead and skip all the way down to the bottom. Dan Francis, we've done, I don't even know how many deals we've done, but we've made over $350,000 together. And he's actually doing more than a deal a week using this program. He's in this program as well, and we've made over $350,000, probably over $400,000 now. So that's how I spent, I shared $1 million doing deals with the network. That's why it's so important. And by the way, most of these people, the majority of these people had zero real estate experience before joining the network and actually partnering with me on deals. So yes, I admit it, right? I have an ulterior motive here. I make lots of money from this network, and I'm looking for people to actually join the network. So how would you like to partner with me and people like me in this network? That's really what we're talking about with the REI Advantage. Okay, another bonus, and this is a pretty big one, closings done for you. A lot of new investors especially are a little intimidated about, like, how do I find somebody to just close the deals for me? Well, I actually use this service. It's a national legal network, and some top real estate attorneys, they will close all of your mortgage assignments, wraps, any of the top 12 strategies. They will close these things. They even have a done-for-you bank deposit service. What does that mean? They'll just wire your money, your proceeds, directly into your bank account. They have many other services available as well, and they have competitive rates. So that's closings done for you. And another bonus, I'll call it super bonus, special bonus number 3. Well, that guy looks a little familiar, doesn't he? I think we've got me right there. How would you like to have me looking over your shoulder and helping you out? Well, I call this coaching done for you. Yes, this is the REI Coach. This is Phil Live. This is me live. All in one includes live coaching with me. Every other Monday night, I literally get on a call with you and a group of students, and you can ask your questions. You can talk about your deals. I will answer your questions. Sometimes people say, I understand it's just this one thing. Can you explain this one thing? I've run into this one situation. Or you can listen to me talk to other people about their deals and their situations. All of the calls are recorded. So let me be your coach. I want you to succeed. So that's special bonus number 3. Now, you can spend, by the way, at least $197 on this kind of coaching. And if you got it from someone else, you're not going to get the guy, the head guy. You're going to get some subordinate doing this. This is me, myself, doing these calls. Every once in a while, if I'm busy, my wife jumps in, Shanoa, and she's just as good at this as I am. But you really get me on these coaching calls. And special bonus number 4, how about 100 additional videos for the Video Encyclopedia? I told you a little bit about the Video Encyclopedia. Well, how would you like to have access to all of the training you will ever need on every topic that has anything to do with residential real estate investing? All of this knowledge at your fingertips and organized into easily accessible bite-sized videos, organized into just about every subject you can think of. And I don't have time to read all these because there's over 100 of them, but setting up sites, how to talk to sellers, setting up your brand, creating a business card, calculating repairs, doing due diligence, setting up your LLC, setting up your corporate structure, setting up your QuickBooks, how to call FSBOs, different investing strategies, the etiquette of money, different corporate strategies, how to use your IRA to invest in real estate, how to do a 1031 exchange to invest and exchange one property for more properties. So there's endless videos here on all of the different strategies and techniques and things like that you might want to learn somewhere along the line, but I will give you some advice. Don't watch these videos, right? This is an encyclopedia. Don't watch them until you need them. Nobody reads an encyclopedia, right? But it's nice to have access to all that information when you need it, and that's really what that's all about. So all-in-one, done-for-you real estate. And it also includes the REI Advantage as a bonus, the closing department as a bonus, and live coaching with me as a bonus. Plus, to complete the ultimate REI video encyclopedia, we've added an additional over 100 videos on operation finance analysis and more. And I'm looking for 25 people to join our network. Now, if you built all this stuff yourself, and using realistic numbers, I hate it when somebody says, and this is worth, $500 million or whatever. Let me just put down kind of what is included for the stuff that you could, if you wanted to, find it somewhere else. You can't find all of this stuff somewhere else. Like you can't find the MLS, the investor MLS anywhere else. But if you went and subscribed to the website somewhere else, and if you got a subscription with DocuSign, and you got syndication, and you set up squeeze pages, and you subscribe to get autoresponders and branding websites, and if you got access to a cash network, if you basically got all of these things as best you could a la carte, what would you pay to do this? And these are very realistic prices. In other words, like there's 12 real estate training programs. Usually you'd spend $1,000 a program. I'll say, okay, what if you got all 12? We'll just call that $1,000. This all adds up to $5,092 plus $486 a month for all of the different subscription services. And that's just for the stuff that we could actually put a price on. How would you like to have all of these services all done for you at a fraction of the cost of buying them each separately? Well, that's what we're talking about here, and I'm going to tell you exactly how you can do that in just about a minute. So, this is the scoreboard. By the way, before I built the scoreboard, we actually had a PC, a computer version of this, and I built this for myself, and it was very powerful. We actually sold thousands of these things for $1,000 a piece, but it was not nearly as powerful as the scoreboard because it didn't have the matching website and autoresponders that allowed you to interact with the sellers directly. In other words, it required that you actually get on a phone and talk to somebody, and that was not nearly as revolutionary as what you can do now that this is coupled online. So that's the entire program. Total value is $5,092 and $486 a month. And I'm not going to charge you that much. I'm actually going to bundle this all together. But wait, there's even a little bit more for the lucky 25. Let me go through that. I've also got something that I call the Big Live Event. And the Big Live Event is where I have a 3-day workshop, and you're going to get a ticket plus a ticket for a guest. We're going to go through marketing, branding, strategy, legal, role-playing, much more. I always invite some celebrity guest friends of mine to come share their success secrets as well. Donald Trump's right-hand man, George Ross, good friend of mine. He's been at many of my Big Live events. Oprah Winfrey's significant other, Stedman Graham, a brilliant guy when it comes to mindset and identity. Usually for a lot of people, the biggest obstacle they have to success is kind of what's between their own ears. TV personally, Wayne Allen Root, voice of the Ultimate Fighting, Bruce Buffer, branding tycoon. All of these guys are not here to sell you. They're actually coming to teach you their secrets to success. Over 1,000 investors have been to my Big Live event. We always get feedback, and the average response is, this is the best real estate event I've ever been at. This is not a pitch fest. This is a roll up your sleeve, 3-day, let's get learning and doing this stuff. I call it experiential learning. You can sit at home and watch a book or a video or whatever, but there's nothing like being in a room with like-minded entrepreneurs, being able to touch and feel and interact with the people around you. Ask me and these other guests that I have live questions. It's much more impactful that way. We have breakout sessions, and you get a ticket for you plus a guest. We go around the country every month. We do a different city. You can come to any event you want as many times as you want, and we even record this if you're not able to attend in any of the cities. And special bonus number 6, we also put together a blueprint. This is a little hard to describe other than this is a poster. And remember I said there's real estate's a mile wide. Well, we've identified over 200 different things you need to know to be a real estate investor. We've actually made a video for each one of these 200 different items. That's the video encyclopedia. And this blueprint, this big poster, shows how all of those pieces fit together. If you want to, you can even check them off as you watch the videos if you want to do that. Now, what I really want you to do, though, is I want you to get out and use the services and just get out there and do stuff and make money. And finally, one last bonus. My wife and I have put together a training program video called Top Investor Mistakes. And this is kind of unique. It's actually a 2-hour video explaining how to lose millions in real estate. My marketing guy hates it when I call it that, but seriously, you know, every time we've ever made a mistake or seen somebody make a mistake, we've jotted it down and we put it in this video. And this video literally goes through like 200 things that you could do to lose money in real estate. And the best way to learn is not from your mistakes. The best way to learn is from other people's mistakes. It's much cheaper that way. I consider this video absolutely priceless, and it's a bonus for all of the done-for-you people. So the value of all of this is $5,092, $486 a month, plus the value of all of the bonuses. And we're not going to charge that. We're going to include the bonuses, the Top Investor Mistakes, the Ultimate Blueprint, and of course 2 tickets to the big live event, plus the additional videos for the Video Encyclopedia, the REI Advantage, the Closing Department, and Phil Live. And here's the deal. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you how you can get it and what it's going to cost. I really want the best 25 action takers out there. I want the best people to join my network. And I'm willing to give a very dramatic discount to get the right people. I don't want money to be the only reason that somebody doesn't do this. I just want people that really want this, that really want to take action, and really want to do this. So here's what I'm willing to do. You only pay for what you use. You know, you only pay as you use it. And this is not a training program. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm looking for 25 people. And the deal is the whole program, it's $97 a month. So you can have the whole thing for $97 a month for everything you see, plus a one-time refundable deposit of $1,000. So $97 a month plus a one-time refundable deposit of $1,000. I'll tell you about how to get your deposit refunded in a minute. And by the way, just a tangential topic, sometimes I've been asked this. I have thousands of students that use a program that I teach called AMPS. And if you're already one of my AMPS students and you're already paying $97 a month for the AMPS and the REI Matcher platform, you can join us with the all-in-one program today, and you get everything you see, and all you have to pay is the one-time refundable deposit of the $1,000. In other words, you're not going to have to pay the $97 a month twice. You're already paying the $97 a month, so you get the whole thing for the $1,000 deposit. And I'm even going to tell you in a minute how you can get the deposit back. So when you get the deposit back, you actually get the entire all-in-one program for no cost at all. But for most of you, it's $97 a month, and it's a $1,000 one-time refundable deposit. Okay. And oh yeah, the $97 a month, by the way, the billing starts in 45 days. So let me just summarize everything that's part of this thing. There's the REI Marketing Manager, right? Done for you lead generation, done for you websites, the Ultimate Seller website, the Ultimate Investor website. There's a whole bunch of different websites. Didn't have time to go through them all. All in one. Done for you deals, right? Access to the Investor MLS, 1,000 wholesale deals, 700 owner finance deals. There's syndication. We didn't have time to go through that. Done for you social media marketing. You, of course, get the scoreboard to do done for you strategy and the done for you contract generator. And, of course, you get the REI sales team. Done for you live salespeople negotiating your deals. Done for you follow-up. This is autoresponders, something we call AI responders, intelligent autoresponders. And you get done for you lead management to keep track of all your deals, the REI Advantage, which includes the done for you partner network, and there's other parts to that I don't have time to go through now. You get the closing department, which are the done for you legal services, and even done for you bank deposits, where they'll deposit the money automatically into your account. And of course, the REI Coach, that's live coaching with me. So done for you live coaching. So that's a pretty amazing, huge assortment of stuff. This is exactly what I use. These are my tools. You know, if it's good enough for me, it's good enough for you. This is how I do a deal a week. www.aiophil, that flashed up pretty quick there. www.aio, that stands for all-in-one Phil with 2 L's, .com is how you order. Now, for most of you, the order button should appear right on the screen. So if it didn't appear already, for some browsers, I'm told for some reason or another it doesn't work, but it's aiophil.com if you didn't see the order. You're not going to find anything like this anywhere else I mean, this was a monumental effort to put this thing together. I spent over 10,000 hours learning, testing, developing, over $500,000 in development costs. If it works, it's in there. Patent pending features, the world's largest investor MLS, the wholesale pond, 700 properties, 1,000 wholesale, and all those done for you services, too many to list. Again, go to www.AIOPhil, that's all in one, Phil with two L's, PHILL.com, or just click the add to cart button that should appear on your screen. Okay, last super bonus, okay, super bonus number 7. You know, how would you like to get your deposit back? Lucky number 7. Well, here's how you're going to get your deposit back. After you close your second deal using the REI sales team, you get your $1,000 deposit back. So as soon as you close your second deal, you actually get your $1,000 deposit back. And how cool is that? So, oh, some fine print. Don't want to skip the fine print. So here's the fine print. You must register now to receive the bonuses and the program. However, you can return the program within 30 days for a full refund if you're not satisfied for any reason at all, and you'll be refunded in a prompt, courteous manner. To maintain high support standards, registration for this program and all the bonuses is limited to 25 people. Now, they're creating a group of people, and it's 25 people, and that's the deal. If it takes your order, you're in the group. You will receive the $1,000 deposit refund when you close 2 deals using REI sales team. And here's the catch, well, not really a catch. You must provide a testimonial. So I'm going to ask you to share your story. I actually have hundreds of testimonials on my websites and YouTube channels, and I love sharing stories with others. That's how other people learn. So I'm going to ask you to share your story along when you do your deal and get your refund. So that's it. That's the all-in-one, done-for-you real estate. Everything you see on the screen, and including the refund bonus, you know, get a $1,000 deposit back after closing your second deal using the REI sales team. And by the way, you get instant access to everything that you see on the screen. So absolutely everything is instantly accessible except the poster. We actually have to roll the poster up in a big tube and mail that to you. But aside from the poster, you get instant access. You register for the coaching calls. You get to register for the live event and access the video encyclopedias and access all of the different services and features and functions of this thing. That is the everything all-in-one, done-for-you real estate investing platform. So I'm Phil Grove. Wow, I'm pretty tired. We covered a lot of ground, and I really appreciate all of your time going through this massive amount of information with you. I look forward to seeing you guys live at the live event. I look forward to seeing you live on the coaching calls every other Monday night. And I look forward to hearing about your deals. That's actually one of the most exciting things to me, is to hear about deals, especially when I'm working with a newbie. You know, helping people do their first deal is a special thrill for me. The first deal is always the most challenging. This is your roadmap to your first deal. And I love hearing about those first deals because that's when you're really changing people's lives, right? You're giving them a vocation, a way to make an entire living for themselves and to provide for their families. So I love hearing about those, especially first deals, and I love it. I'm going to love hearing about your story. So www.AIOPhil, allinonefil.com. For those of you who can't see the add to cart button that should be appeared on your screen on your browser somewhere, you can go to www.AIOPhil.com. And that's it, everybody. Thank you so much. It's been great, and I will see you live, see you on the calls, and see you out there. Thanks, everybody. Alrighty, folks. Hey, I did want to add one more thing. I see there's some questions that have come in, and I did want to take a few minutes for Q&A. So let me go ahead and answer some of the questions that have come in. And there's several questions, so let me go ahead and look through these here. Let's see. First question. How much money do I realistically need to get started? Well, as little as no money at all. I mean, it's really up to you. You know, when you're getting started with investing, the thing you're going to have to either spend time or money on is the marketing. A lot of people, when they get started, they use the free marketing strategies, and there's like 45 ways I teach to find deals for no money. Or you can use the paid marketing strategy. So if you want to use the free marketing strategy, it doesn't cost anything, although it'll take you some time. You're going to have to go and find those deals with time. The sales commission, that's really only paid out of your profits, so it's not like money you need to get started. So it really doesn't cost a lot. And also, of the 12 strategies that we use, I didn't have all the time in the world to talk about this, but 7 or 8 of the 12 strategies are no money strategies. That doesn't mean those are the only money strategies you should use, because the truth is, even if you find a strategy that takes money, there's people with money looking to do deals, looking for deals, and there's people with deals looking for money. So even if you find a deal that takes money, great, you know, wholesale it into the Advantage Network and give the deals to somebody else. So that's how you can make money even on strategies that take money. Or you can always, you know, get a partner to do the deal with me or do the deal with you. Any advice for brand new investors? Well, I think I gave a lot of advice throughout the whole presentation to new investors. My best advice, though, is spend your time finding a deal. Look, you find a deal and feed it into this machine, and you'll make money. Money comes out the other end, but you need to spend time finding a deal. Next question, let's see. Does this work everywhere? How about in Kansas City? Yeah, I don't know why. I guess I wasn't clear on that. Yes, all of these strategies work everywhere. You know, in every market, in every state, in every city, they all work. But each of these strategies works in unique situations. The markets are always changing. As the markets change, the mix of the situations change, and you're going to find that you make more money in some opportunities and less money in other opportunities. But having all of these different strategies, I should say, will allow you to monetize or make money no matter where you are, no matter what market you're investing in. Let's see. I've tried other programs. Why is this going to work? Well, there's never been anything in the history of the world, anything close to like this. This is not some training program. I think a lot of programs just involve, you know, cracking open books and watching videos and then going out and doing something. This is really a platform that's a done-for-you service platform. I mean, it's really, you know, pushing buttons and orchestrating a business, and not like, you know, studying or reading some books or watching some videos and then going out and figuring out what to do. So this is radically different than anything that has existed before. This is what I use myself. Okay. What strategies do you use the most now? How's that changed with what's going on over the last few years? Okay. I use all of the strategies. I always have, and I always will. But the mix has changed a little bit. I find myself doing a lot fewer short sales simply because they're too hard to sell. I do a lot of seller finance deals, which are things like, you know, lease options, mortgage assignments, wraparound mortgages. Those are very, very popular. I've always done a lot of wholesaling in all the different markets. I always do fix and flips. I always do buy and hold. So it's a mix. I just picked up an auction option today. Those are relatively uncommon, but doesn't cost anything. And every once in a while, those things hit and you make $50,000 or $100,000. Real estate market is in bad shape right now. Is it a good time to invest, or should I wait a little longer? Well, you know, real estate market is good for investors. It may not be good for homeowners. You know, when somebody is just a civilian, you know, a residential homeowner, you know, they buy a house and the value goes down, that's not a good thing for them. For real estate investors, we make money in up markets, we make money in down markets. That's not what we're concerned with. I mean, for rental properties, we want them to go up over time, but for flipping houses, yeah, it's a great time. There's more deals than there have been in years, and there's tons of opportunities, assuming you use the right strategy for each situation. And the scoreboard will sort that out for you. It'll tell you how to make money, every time your phone rings. Let's see. If you make so much money flipping houses, why are you wasting your time selling a training product? Oh boy. Well, I thought I kind of covered that earlier. I'll go ahead and cover that again. And by the way, it's something you just naturally get pulled into. After doing about 1,000 real estate transactions, I acquired a certain level of kind of fame, I guess you could say. People found me to be the deal guy, and people sought me out. And what I discovered was I was constantly getting asked to lunch. People say, "Can I just pick your brain, learn a little from you?" And I'm an open book. I'm like, sure, I free lunch, I'll go, I'll tell anybody whatever they want to know. And I was constantly, going out and teaching people about real estate. And I'm fine with that. I love doing it. I actually kind of enjoy it. But at one point, my wife said, I don't mind you teaching all these people real estate, but I do mind you taking all these 2-hour lunches. This is not working. You need to be working on our business. And so what we did is we actually put together a little training program and then just invited all these people who wanted to pick our brains to come and sit in our training program. And then we also started a real estate club in Central Texas, which is totally congruent with our investing business. Running a real estate club, we don't actually make any money on the club, but we've surrounded ourselves with hundreds of investors that we can do deals with. So it helps us grow our investing business. Well, once we started having this little training club and this little training class we taught at the club, some national gurus, if you will, found out about it, and they started saying, well, can you talk at this group and can you talk at that group? And kind of one thing just has led to another, and this thing's just gotten bigger and bigger all by itself. I love real estate investing. I'm still a real estate investor, but as long as I can do these training solutions and technologies, for my own business, and as long as it's congruent with my own business, I can make money on this other stuff as well. And as long as it all fits together, it's what's called intentionally congruent. It makes good business sense to do all this stuff. Okay, next question. You say that several of these strategies don't require any money. Can you give examples? How much money can I make? Well, I think I gave several examples. The mortgage payment assignment strategy doesn't take money. Wholesaling doesn't take money. Another strategy, auction options. You get a property under contract using an option period, and then you auction off your contract, and you hope somebody comes along and offers more than your strike price, your option price. And if they do, you flip it and make a big paycheck. Typically $50,000 to $100,000. We usually do this with higher end properties. And if you don't find somebody to take over your contract during your option period, you simply terminate your contract. Doesn't cost anything. So that's another example of a no money strategy. Wraparound mortgages, lease options, those are all no money strategies. You have to learn how to use these no money strategies. And the reason for that is simply because, even if you have money, you don't have an infinite amount of money. If you have $100,000 and you use that to buy a house, great. Now your $100,000 is tied up in a house and you can't do another deal until you sell that house. So you've got to learn the no money strategies. The more money that I make and the more deals that I do, the more that I find I use less money and do the no money strategies. Okay, next comment. Let's see. It says, the scoreboard is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Wow. I don't really have a question. Okay. But because like you said, it's pretty simple and clear how it works. I just wanted to say, wow, I've been investing for years and I've never seen anything like this. I wish I had this a long time ago. Well, this is one of the secrets to my success. And by the way, thank you for those comments. Yeah, it's pretty revolutionary. I mean, this is a really big game changer. Next question. So let me get this straight. I can get leads and have your salespeople call my leads on the phone and I don't have to pay them anything unless I get under contract with the terms I like, and it's actually something I want. Then how do they make money? Well, the answer is, for the salespeople, how do they make money? When they get a contract, when they get a deal you do want, then you pay them. You're going to pay them $1,500 out of your profits. So they're incentivized to get you deals that you're actually going to want. So that's what they want. They want to get good deals under contract for you, so you will buy those deals. You'll pay them the commissions for those deals that you make money on. Let's see. Any other questions here? Strategies. I think I've answered all this stuff. How do I make money fast? Well, the fastest way to make money is to do a deal. It's a numbers game. You go generate a lot of leads, you can make money pretty quickly. The faster you can generate leads, the faster you're going to get yourself a deal. There's also things like in the marketing manager in the network you get access to. I mean, there's deals in there. You can literally do a deal immediately. There's 1,700 properties that are instantly available. These are wholesale and sub-2 deals instantly available at your fingertips. You could get one of those tomorrow by just searching through the database to find something you want. You could even match up one of those properties with a buyer. I mean, in other words, you can literally put an ad in Craigslist for one of the websites that gets built for you in under a minute. The website lists properties on it that are in the database, and if somebody buys one of the properties, you get paid as a bird dog to match your buyer up with one of those properties in there. So, I mean, there's very quick ways to get paid very, very quickly. So I think I've answered all of the questions, and I appreciate those questions. Like I said, really enjoyed it. I'm getting a little tired though, so I will see you guys on the live calls and at the live event. I'm Phil Grove, signing off. Thanks, everybody.